So before you think I skipped dozens of levels overnight, this is actually my original Raid Shadow Legends account from back in the beginning of the game when it first started. We played a whole bunch. We got some really nice stuff. However, when I went back to school to get my second degree, this kind of took a back burner. We haven't been able to keep up with it. So today, hopefully, we are going to be able to catch up on some of the summons that we missed out on. Some of the 3 stars like Castigator, Roughstone, Wagonbane, Born, Talog, Lamabur. I have a whole list of all of the ones that were missing. Just the 3 stars. I'm not really expecting much more than that. But first, before we do that, we gotta run the Raid Shadow Legends promo.
Download Raid Shadow Legends today using my link in the description to get all kinds of crazy Immediately you get a legendary Elenaril, epic Mausoleum Mage at level 10. Level 20, you get Uugo. Level 30, you get the epic Rector Draft. Use the promo code Supreme6 for a legendary Supreme Gaelic for free. And if you log in for 7 days, you get a legendary Alice the Wanderer. Use my promo code today. Link in the description.
Still one of my favorite promos of all time. I feel like that was a masterpiece. It's probably going to get annoying after the 100,000th time, but let's see what we have in the good old inbox, because I did buy some packs so that we have a couple summons. I think like a dozen or so summons from just farming, but I did want to get some packs so that we're not just summoning a dozen scrolls, a dozen shards. Can you tell what is coming out? That dozen scrolls. What do we have? So I really have to clean up my loot because, yeah, I've been farming. It's not that I haven't been farming. Look at all this farming. You farm and then you don't want to do the management of the account. And you're like, I'll do it later. Oh my God. Because I just want to see if there's more scrolls. So if there's more shards, old habits. If there's more shards over here that I possibly didn't collect for any, this is so much. Okay, we're fine. We found everything. What do we actually have? We have 52 ancient shards. 52 ancient shards. Which one? I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with that one. I don't want to spend too much time trying to theory craft and nitpick and go with the... Because I believe I chose that the last time. This is not new. I was excited for a second, but no, that's not new. I mean, it's one of the newer units. It's just something that I already have. And I'm realizing I think we need to actually make some space. So let's do that and let's come back. Made some space, but also I took a minute to re-review the skills of all the different units. I feel like most people would probably choose this one for all the Barkhorn. But personally, I really want this one. I chose it the last time he was there. So we've got the defense break over here on the first skill. Second skill, attack all enemies, 75% chance of placing a defense break on each enemy for 2 turns before attacking. Also has a 75% chance of placing a stun for 1 turn after attacking. Damage based on his defense. Then we have a strengthen here, strengthen buff, and 30% increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. Plays a perfect veil buff on this champion for 2 turns. And then we have a passive at the start of each turn. Plays a perfect veil buff on 1 turn for the ally with the highest attack. Inflicts 20% more damage against targets whose defense is lower than this champion's defense. And also, he's just a Tiger Warrior, and that's... nothing else matters. He's just a Tiger Warrior, and that's why I chose him before, and that's why I'm going to choose him again. We're not going to get him anyway. It doesn't really matter. Okay, let's get this going. RNG, please. Just want some new things that we haven't had before. Is the Sanctum protected? That doesn't... I don't think that's new. That's not new. Maiden, Athel, Skullthorn, Itinerant, Honor Guard, Gator. Yeah, nothing is new, is it? All right, let's go again. Next 10 pull. RNG, please. I know Warden we have. I know Juliana we have. I think we don't have this one on here. Stun debuff. Okay. Crit rate on this champion. Ignores 25% target's defense. Will ignore 50%. Did the 25... When I first started seeing these percentage of defense ignore, it seemed good because I'm like, ignore defense is great. But then I'm like, it's not really not that much. Like 25% ignore defense is not that crazy. Ignore 25% of target's defense. Will ignore 50% of target's defense instead if the target is under an increased defense buff, damage based on attack. We've got this immune to fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, stun, petrification, debuff. That's kind of nice. And then we increase ally res and doom tower battles. Okay. We did actually get some new stuff here, so that's also nice. I mean, two epics though. Is Thurgis new? I think we already got 2 new units. Missionary we already had. That's not new. Yeah. But we did get some other new ones. I feel like that's new. Captain Tamila. Because some of them look very similar. So this looks like another unit that's a void unit. But I think this is actually new. But then the issue is, how do you skill them up? We have 10 more to do. 10 more. RNG, please. I told you we weren't going to get the tiger. Okay. Rearguard Sergeant. Let's see. This has got to be new. I do not think that we had this. The skill ups though, that's really what gets you, is the skill ups and then trying to increase their skill tree, trying to max it all out. There's like 9,000 different ways to max and upgrade units. Not max, just upgrade. That's what I actually meant. Doesn't really matter too much. We're not going to get it. All of them look good, but this one looks the best. He just looks like a ridiculous support unit. So we have this defend the wall. Attacks all enemies. Place a shield buff on all allies except this champion for 1 turn. Value of the shield proportional to the champion's defense. We have the healing bombardment. Attacks all enemies. Heals the champion by 10% of the damage dealt. Increased duration of all buffs on allies by 1 turn, which is nice. We have the attacks all enemies. 3rd skill. 75% chance of placing a provoke and increase resistance and 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. And then this one, which is nice because it doesn't need a skill up, is the passive. Whenever this champion is attacked, heal all allies except this champion for 70% of the damage received. Only heals by 35% of damage received from boss attacks. This effect has no cooldown. And then it also plays an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn before receiving a fatal hit. That seems like a pretty nice skill set for a unit that we're not going to get. So let's do this. Not going to get it anyway. We have what? We actually have like 2 or 3 we have 3 voids on this account. We're missing some new void 3s as well. But it's hard to remember which ones we're missing. I expect only 3 stars here. But at least we're getting tournament points, so that's nice. There's a lot of higher level teams we have to finish building. We have some teams. We have a decent amount of teams, but dungeon teams. But like the newer stuff, we still have to build. We have 2 primal shards. I don't get my hopes up about these. I really do not. And then we have 3 sacred shards. These are just always 3 stars. Don't get excited. They're always 3 stars. Oh, except for the one time it's a 4-star, but we already have 1 million of this. So, yeah, good unit, but we don't need more of them. Maybe if we get this, we'll get better RNG. Nah, they just don't want to give us the tiger. All right, this has got to be new. This has got to be new. I would have known if we had this before. Decreased duration of a random buff if the target is under HP burn. If they're 30%. Also, there's a 30% chance of decreasing target's turn meter by 15% if they're under a freeze debuff. We have block debuffs on all allies for 1 turn. Only 1 turn! 25% strengthened on all allies for 2 turns. And then we have an AoE freeze. Okay. Attack is higher than their defense. So freeze against squishy nukers. HP burn for 1 turn. Enemies. I mean, at least he synergizes with himself. So there is that. Which is nice. And then the HP... Well, the HP burn is for the other ones. The ones that are defense higher than attack. And then we have the Twisted Hunger. Heals all allies by 5% of max HP every time an enemy under HP burn gets a turn. Full turn meters of all allies by 10% every time an enemy under a freeze debuff gets a turn. There's so many different areas of the game, though, that just because a unit is... I think this is also new. I don't remember having this. Yeah. It looks like Memento. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that movie. The one where he's... what's the actor's name? I don't remember what the actor's name is. But he's like, maybe you've seen like the cover of it at least, but he like writes all over his body. So, yeah. What do we have here? Attacks all enemies, heal the ally with the lowest HP. Removes 1 random debuff from all allies and increases the duration of ally buffs by 1 turn. That's 3 turns after it's scaled up. Sacred Trust fully heals target ally, plays a 30% increased crit rate and 30% increased crit damage on all allies for 2 turns. What is the last one? Marksman. I don't... Got the speed lead. Poison debuff. Okay. 25% chance of getting an extra turn. So he's got a full set of Violent Runes on him. Attacks one enemy, fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%. And he's got the speed lead. 4 times at random, each hit has a 35% chance to ignore... Yeah, reminds me of a Faye. Reminds me of a Faye. That's all I gotta say. And we're not ready for any of this just yet. Alright, guys. Anyway. What do we have here? That's just the dailies. Almost time for the next day. Is it? No, it's not. It is not almost time for the next day. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hopefully, we will get a chance to use some of these new units sometime soon. I'm a little bummed out that we didn't get more 3 stars. We got a decent amount of epics, but it would have been nice to get a little bit more of the 3 stars, fill out the Pokedex, because we're still missing quite a handful, but I guess that'll be the next summon session when we try to fill up the... You know it's never going to happen. At least the 3 stars! Let's at least just fill up the 3 stars in the Pokedex. Anyway, that's for this one. Use the link in the description or the QR code if you want to download and play the game for yourself. You get some really ridiculous stuff, as you saw in the beginning from for a new account. Especially that new Alice that's going on, man. That's wild. This Alice chase. Maybe the time that you're... I'm hoping the time you're seeing this is currently... this is going on, because this is a ridiculous unit. That's like one of the best... One of my favorite units in the game. I feel like it's one of the best units in the game, too, right now. Anyway, that's it for this one. See you as always in the next one.